Okay, guys, so today I am joined with an absolute legend, Paul Dunn. So Paul has been part of the fellowship, I'm thinking now, for probably the last 2 to 3 months, and Paul is going to be sharing some absolutely amazing stuff with us today in terms of what he's been doing. So Paul, great to have you, my friend. How are you doing?
Yeah, very well. Thank you, Charlie. Great to meet you. See you again.
The sun is shining like it is today up here in Lichfield, is that right?
Yeah, it's very sunny in Devon as well.
Man, it's what I like to hear, Paul. So, Paul, just for the guys that are watching or listening to this, do you want to give like a quick intro? Let them know what you do as far as the business goes and all of that stuff. Super quick talk through who you are and what you do would be brilliant, my friend.
Yeah, I say I'm Paul. I'm an electrician in North Devon area. We mainly work in the domestic field. So really just trying to expand and gather more customers, really.
Paul, and it's not just yourself in your business. So what have you got? How many other guys have you got working for you?
I've got 2 other guys, Callum and Nick. Nick's our apprentice, and yeah, they work really well.
That's cool. And how many vans? So how many vans have you got running on the road there, Paul?
We've got 3 altogether, but one's out of action at the moment, so I should have a new engine very soon.
That is the real plight of running a business right there. The engine
the real world, mate. The real world.
So talk us through, Paul, like your journey from, like, let's say, when did you decide to set the business up? Like, how long have you been going, and what's been like in terms of like your journey, like your whole fucking running your own business type journey? Like, what's been a big pain in the ass? What's that sort of look like? To talk us through.
I started my apprenticeship, and then I was made redundant because of lack of work. And then I was already doing my own private jobs, so I thought, well, you know what, sod it, I'll just have a go. And that was over 10 years ago now. So,
oh, wow.
Been going along steadily on my own for probably the majority of the time, with a little bit of help here and there. And then I suppose in the last few years, things are really sort of gathering a bit of pace, getting more customers, too much to handle on your own. So you think, well, I need to do something. So I obviously took someone on, obviously worked in and out, a bit choppy. So I'm all in anyway, I suppose. Both feet is into what I'm doing. But you get to that point where you realise you need some help, really.
And how? Because I know we have people that reach out and talk all the time. I know it's something that comes up in the think tank a lot in terms of that leap from being like, fuck, it's just me, to being like, right, I've got another mouth to feed, or I'm bringing someone else on. How did you go through that decision process in your head and being like, right, now is the right person, or were you just like, fuck it, I'm just going to make it happen?
Sorry, mate, I got interrupted there. It is kind of, for me, it's just sort of like just go for it, innit? I mean, you've got nothing to lose, really. So yeah, just all in.
And what was the impact to the first guy that you brought on board, Paul? What sort of did you notice the difference, like overnight, or were you like, how long did it for you to be like, man, fuck, I feel like I've made the right decision here?
Straight away, really. Once you're interacting with the customers and you're dealing with them direct, as opposed to working for an employer, then it's just a nice feeling that they're happy, you're doing a good job, and yeah, it's satisfying.
That's really, really cool. And in terms of, I mean, we talk a lot about here in sort of like the one-man empire thing. I think what some people don't necessarily, or sometimes I guess there's some misconceptions around it. So we say like one-man empire, and the fact that you, like a lot of other guys that are a part of the fellowship, and actually it's not just you, but there's other, let's call it, there's other people in the business, you've got employees, you've got people working for you. And I always think this whole one-man empire thing, it's down to sort of like the mindset you've got up here in terms of how you're going to fucking do this thing. Talk me through like your mindset there, Paul. Like how do you motivate yourself in the morning? What gets you going? What makes you work? And how do you basically attack each and every single day? Because I get the messages from you like, fuck it, I'm going at it. What drives you to make stuff like that?
I don't know, it's just a passion for what you do, the place you want to be, where you want to get to, really. I suppose I'm quite driven anyway, in myself. It's just personal achievement, I think, really. You just think, right, I want to do, X, Y, and Z, and you kind of have to make it happen.
And you're definitely one of the people that just get shit going. I mean, in terms of you being involved in this process. So, I mean, talk us through, Paul. Like, before you came involved with the show, I mean, what What did you find was what was the stumbling blocks? You've been going for 10 years. You bring people on board, and you then get to a point, and you're like, right, fuck. What was the point where you were like, I feel like I've not necessarily got to where I need to be, or I feel like there's more. What did that sort of look like, and how did you sort of like come to that conclusion, I suppose?
Yeah, I guess working for builders is great. It's regular work, but the money's not fantastic. But you're busy. But I suppose everyone's after more money, and you kind of get to that point where you get a little bit disheartened because you're not making the kind of progress you really want.
Yeah.
And that you deserve.
Yeah, that's a big thing, isn't it? Sometimes you're like, fuck, I'm putting the time and the effort in, and you're like, where is this thing going? So in terms of, I guess, stuff that you've started putting in place, Paul, I mean, talk me through and talk us through some of, let's call it like some of the tactics that perhaps the people that are watching this might be able to leverage and might be able to do, and what sort of impact that's had. So what's like the biggest thing that you've put in play over the last couple of months where you're like, fuck, man, this has just like changed everything?
Yeah, well, definitely the surprise and delight of the box that we send out to the customers with the chocolates and the pens and the business cards and that. The feedback is phenomenal. I've got a stack of.
Talk us through, Paul. So people that aren't too sure about what a surprise and delight is, what are you guys putting in that? So talk through when you're sending that out and how that works and just like the mechanics of that thing, because it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, so basically when we complete a job, we send them a lovely little box with some goodies in, some leaflets, etc., about the other things that we do. Like I say, some chocolate in there, some things that are just nice for the customer to make them feel good. And the feedback that we get on our satisfaction cards is phenomenal. And I've got a good sort of stack of cards now from loads of different customers saying lots of wonderful things about what we do. So,
and didn't you have some woman in tears or something as well, Paul? Is that right?
All the time, mate. All the time. Yeah. I called at her house because we actually forgot to send her a box. So I thought, you know what? So I'll take it to her personally.
Yeah.
Knocked on the door. She was a bit busy having dinner. So I think I annoyed her to start with a little bit, and I said, well, I'm not here, for any other reason. Just handed her the box. Said, this little something for you. So. And then, I think she hugged me, she kissed me, and she shed a little bit of a tear because no one else does it. It's just not a thing you do in the type of trade that we're in. It's no one does it. It's just you do a job, and you put the bill in, you get paid, and then you move on to the next one. So the looking after the customers aspect just doesn't really exist anywhere else.
It's crazy, isn't it? Because again, it's like that forgotten art of saying thank you sometimes. And in terms of like being like, well, how can we make sure that we are different to all the other people, all the other electricians, all the other people that are out there? Sometimes just saying thank you, it goes a huge way.
That's right. Yeah.
And as you said, like people forget about the customer and are far too quick to move on to the next one. Now, what I want to jump into as well here, Paul, because you've done some really cool stuff in terms of being like, actually, I've got one customer. And where most people are going, actually, I want to just make sure that I can get more and more customers. You're actually turning that one customer into like 3 or 4 customers by like a process that you've put in place there, which is just fucking awesome. So talk us through, Paul, like how simple this thing is and how effective that it is that what you've been doing. Just walk through it step by step.
Yeah, well, basically, when we're working at our customer's house, myself or the guys will hand out the postcards into the rest of the street, which is basically a card which has got my picture on it, tells the customers what we do, that we've been working in their street at, sort of Mrs. Bloggs. She's upgraded her home electrics. And that really starts driving other people in the street to pick the phone up.
Fucking free money, basically. Is that right?
It is, yeah. It's really working well, yeah. Yeah, it's brilliant.
That's really, really cool. Really, really cool. And how I guess, so what I'm trying to think here, Paul, is like in terms of the biggest change that you've seen over sort of like the last 6 months. I mean, talk me through what you think is the biggest impact that the stuff that you've put in place has started to have, and all that sort of stuff. And just so I guess that people can see, if you start making these small baby steps, because like you said, putting a postcard together and putting that through someone's door, it's not like it's It's not like it's trying to learn like Facebook advertising or something like that. It's super, super fast. Yeah. Talk through what sort of impact that's had from a personal perspective, from a business perspective, and all that sort of stuff as well.
Well, I think joining the one man empire is really put the line in what we was doing before and what we're doing now. It's completely changed everything.
And what do you mean by change everything there, Paul? What sort of impact has it had, or what's the difference been, or?
We are following up on every quote. We are chasing down every possible lead on jobs, looking after the customers after the job's complete. Every aspect of the business is being nailed. So whereas before, there's just so many, things would just slide, would just get slip through the net. I mean, it might be a quote that you've forgotten to follow up on.
Yeah.
So it's a system where everything is taken care of. Nothing is left to chance, basically. So, yeah, it's fantastic.
It's funny that, isn't it, in terms of sometimes like you can spend all this time in terms of being like, I want to get new business through the door, and that takes a load of fucking time and energy, and then doing quotes takes like a load of time and energy, to use your quote example, and then you sit there and you're like, fuck, I've done 30 quotes, and then you do nothing else about them, and you're like, well, what was the point of spending all the time doing the marketing and all the time doing the quotes if you aren't going to follow them up? So talk us through, Paul, that follow up now. So what are you doing to make sure that people aren't slipping through the cracks and you're converting those the best as possible? How does that sort of look like at your end?
Yeah, well, basically, we send out a quote by email predominantly or post, and if we don't get a reply within a few days, our email program will basically send them an automated email to say, did you get the quote okay? Hope everything's okay. We haven't heard from you. That type of thing. And it basically follows it up for you so that you don't have to worry about it. It's been taken care of. And if they do reply, then the program lets you know it stops sending out the other emails that it would have. So, yeah, it's brilliant. And it has been working. And it just gives you that edge that I've had one customer who said, well, we got your quote okay. We're looking for other prices. And then obviously it gives you a chance to respond and say, hope you get a like-for-like quote, and sort of ensure that you do compare the quotes properly, and you can still follow it up anyway.
Yeah.
So even if they go for someone else, there's still that chance that other electrician won't follow his end up, and it might come back your way because you did follow it up, and that's the key difference, I think.
And in terms of, I guess this is a big thing, isn't it? When you start putting these things in play, I mean, especially when you automate shit, which is fucking brilliant, is that you can actually be focused on doing what you need to focus on, making money. But in terms of like your competitors, I mean, how many of your competitors do you think in, like, let's call it like whether it's an electrician or whether it's a building trade, how many people do you think have got that sort of system in place, or are just doing it like you were doing? Like, what do you think the differentiator then now becomes?
In my area, I would almost certainly say no one, nobody. Maybe the bigger companies, but I very much doubt that, to be honest with you. Yeah, I think they more rely on office staff to follow things up. So yeah, I honestly don't think anyone else does it.
Which is, I love the system. Well, I love systemizing anything, because the system doesn't get sick. It doesn't need holiday pay. It just works, which is really cool, isn't it? I guess what's kind of interesting there, Paul, when you say actually there's probably no one doing it perhaps apart from like some of the big guys. And I think it's really, really cool, because we have people here that reach out, or I've spoken to people in the past and like, yeah, you know what, but we've got like really, really big competitors in the market and we're only small. And despite it being you with like two other guys, that you're almost like you're out marketing and you're out communicating than like the bigger fish in the marketplace, which is crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
Fucking awesome, man. Absolutely love it. And in terms of, you mentioned there, Paul, like since you've been part of the one man empire thing, you've been able to get stuff done. Now, from your perspective in like running a business over like the last 10 years, I tend to find one of the big things is sometimes it's not necessarily just putting stuff in place, but sometimes it can be the fact that you've got other people around you that are, let's say, going to hold you to a higher standard, that the fact that you've said that you're going to do something, that you get shit done. I mean, how has that sort of thing impacted you with actually taking action and having that sort of support network there? What sort of impact has that had, if any?
Yeah, to be honest with you, that really does help keep me going, because even now I get highs and lows. But the fact that you're on the end of the phone, Charlie, I can ask you a question at any time. just gives you that little lift. And again, you think, it's just keep going. Next one, the meeting, once a month, the think tank is a real boost. So yeah, like I say, even now you get highs and lows, but yeah, it really just gives you that. Just keep going, keep doing what you're doing, but you got to believe in what you do, and that really does help.
Yeah, that belief is a big one, isn't it? In terms of being like, I can do this, I can make this happen. And is there anything that you do, Paul, to sort of like reinforce that belief on like a daily basis, weekly basis, or how do you get that balance, I guess, at home when you've got everything else that's going on and trying to juggle everything else and still keep that drive and momentum? What do you sort of do on a regular basis to make that happen?
I suppose I don't know. Really.
You are one of the most motivated people that I've seen, Paul. And I was like, I wonder if that's like a secret trick that he does to get all this shit done.
I mean, obviously watching your YouTube videos is a real motivation boost. The plan that you give me, maybe once a week, I'll just go back through and just make sure, right, okay, although I know I've done most of the bits on there, just make sure I've completed everything. That just to go sort of back to where he was and go, right, where was we before, and what we doing? Just run it through your mind. That's what I think I do, and go, right, how was it before? What are we doing? Where are we trying to get to? Just keep your sort of nose on track, really. It's easy as you go along, you're thinking, right, everything's going well, and a few bits and pieces slide. Like you might miss a road out where you would have done your postcards, because you're busy, one thing and another. And I'll just go back from my diary and go, right, did I follow up this customer and this one and this one? I'll tick them off in my diary. It's the belief in what you do, really, and it's the satisfaction that you can give to the customers. And the opportunity is always out there.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You get into that sort of frame of mind and think, quotes aren't coming in and you're not winning jobs, but the jobs are out there. You just got to go and get out and get them, basically.
Well, and talk us through, Paul, because you mentioned about a couple of pub contracts that you won that you said had been under your nose in a while. So talk us through, because that's sometimes like a big thing, isn't it? You sit there and you think, fuck, there's not the work or whatever it might be, and actually there's these things that are literally just right in front of you that you don't take it. So talk us through how you landed those and what that thought process was, and basically how that all happened. So I think it's a really valuable story.
Yeah, I mean, basically, there's a pub we've been working for years, which is the Liberal. I don't know if I'm allowed to mention names, but pub in Ilfracombe. We do various bits and pieces, small jobs for them. We do the portable appliance testing every year. And then obviously only till recently, I was like, hang on a minute, we're not doing the condition report, which is done every 5 years, I think, and then you think, well, why aren't we doing it? It's like, well, no reason. It's just something that slipped through the net.
Yeah.
But once you've got a system in place, you can, which is I've got all my folders in the shop base, so I've got everything laid out, so I can literally see all the jobs that are going on, all the routine stuff, and I go, hang on a minute, we're not doing a condition report for this job. So I suggested it to them, and we're in there this Saturday, and that's happening. So yeah, it's great. And then we've got another pub, very much a similar sort of situation, where we're doing a condition report down there, but vice versa, we're not into some of the other routine work.
Yeah.
And after suggesting it, the owner's like, well, yeah, we need to have it done. So it's that simple. It's just looking at the customer, the range of jobs that you can do for them, and make sure you've touched base and offered it to them. And that can literally be the difference. The customer is there, they want a sale, they don't necessarily know it. You've got to make them aware of it, and it's sometimes the work is on your doorstep and you don't even see it.
Oh, it's crazy to say, just money that's being left on the table sometimes, and it's awesome.
It's crazy. Yeah, you can be looking out for more and more jobs, and forget the ones you already got.
Yeah.
And there's potential in every single customer. To be honest with you, and that's the thing, you don't realise that before. I don't think, I could literally go back to January. The first customer went to in January, knock on their door, have a cup of tea, and you're probably going to land yourself another job.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. It's quite scary when you think how much potential there really is, and that's without looking for new customers.
Yeah. And again, when people talk about market change and all that sort of stuff, everyone's going, well, how do I find more new? How do I find more new? And just like you said, actually, 9 times out of 10, if you've got a business that's been running around for a while, it doesn't matter how big or how small you are, you have got money that is there and existing customers. You just need to go and pick it up and have a fucking conversation with them and, like a human being. And it's incredible how far that could go, isn't it?
Absolutely, that's right. Yeah.
So in terms of your head, Paul, I mean, what do the next 12 months look like? What's that track looking like at your end? Where do you see this thing going, and how does that differ to where you thought it would be going? I suppose is the next question.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, we're just sort of going along as most tradesmen do. Very average, you know. You think you're trying, but you're not really pushing, to be honest with you. You do a good job, but you know, you're not really pushing yourself in there for other jobs. So now we are literally driving every single place we go to. We're driving that job, getting more jobs out of the same customers, driving more jobs out of the same road that we're working on. The advertising is really hitting everywhere now. I am sort of coming to a bit of a contact with another electrician in my area. So yeah, we're sort of competing quite a bit occasionally now. So kind of rubbing onto his turf a bit. Yeah, so that's quite interesting. Yeah, no, it's really good. It's all going in the right direction. What I am doing as well is going back over every customer we've ever been to in the last 10 years plus.
Wow.
Which is, like I say, I think is a gold mine.
Yeah.
So I've taken someone else on one day a week in the shop to go through, basically put every customer, you know, invoice, certificate, all the information we've got on that customer into a folder.
Yeah.
And then put them into years, and then basically follow them up with, you know, with some material we'll email them or post them, depends on the contact information we got. And basically just hit a touch base with them again, like we did 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And, yeah, and that will generate more work. I mean, it's guaranteed, really. So yeah, it's
That's
great.
fucking awesome, Paul. And what I love about that, my friend, in terms of what you've just said there is that there are people that are out there, and probably people that are watching this right now, and they're thinking, oh, the way to run a business now, like, it scares the shit out of me. There's like so much technology, there's all the internet type stuff, and you've literally just gone, I've got a file and a bit of paper and a folder, and we can make that work, in terms of being like, you don't need to overcomplicate this shit. Sometimes you can just get some simple little processes in place. It can be as simple as a piece of paper, a folder, and then just picking up the phone and having a conversation with someone and being like, fuck it, what can we do to help? It's awesome, man, and really, really cool. Really, really cool.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. It's great. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a very technical person, to be honest with you. Thank God my missus is more more up to speed with that. Yeah, on my own, I don't think I could do the technical aspects of it. But yeah, I mean, just knocking on someone's door, a customer that you've had for years, have a cup of tea. You're not necessarily pushing for work. Just have a sit down. Takes 15 minutes. And then they're like, oh, hang on, yeah, I do need a light fitting put in, or an outdoor socket, or, you know, there's always something they need done. You know, it works. And it's just being friendly. It's just having you in their presence.
Yeah.
You know, a little bit more.
It's awesome, Paul. And as I said, I know you've only been part of, let's call it like the fellowship for the past 2 to 3 months, but to see that journey that you've been on, and to just take this thing. And again, in a market where typically, whether it's electricians, whether we're talking carpenters, but a trade type market where there is so much money left on the table, and be like, actually, you know what, it is my moral obligation and responsibility to not only make sure that the customer gets a great experience, but to make sure that we can do everything possible to help them to get what they really want. And how that's turned, it's just fucking awesome, man, and really, really cool to see. So what I think, I mean, there was some amazing gold there, Paul, in terms of being like, where I think people that are watching this could focus on, where there's money, where there's, I think the gold mine that you used it there, which is really, really cool. With that being said, and before we shut this thing down, is there any last thing that you would say, or any last bit of advice that you would give everyone that's watching this, and be like, if there's anyone out there that's possibly a tradesman or in your shoes, what would be the one thing you would tell that person to do to pull themselves out and to take back some control inside of their business life and all that other stuff? What would you recommend?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, you know, look, just just try it. Basically, I mean, everyone's shot money on advertising that doesn't work. You know, give it a go. You surprise yourself. You know, it's money well spent. End of the day. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it.
Paul, that is awesome, my friend. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on this today, and hopefully you can get back, get the flip-flops out down in North, enjoy the sunshine, and I will look forward to catching up with you very, very soon. Great to have you on the on this episode today, and I will speak to you shortly.
Okay, cheers, Charlie.
Cheers,
take care, mate.
Bye, mate.
Cheers, bye.